if I told you that a single book helped shape empires, spark revolutions, inspire laws, and change the way people lived, loved, fought, and forgave for over 2,000 years? The Bible is the most translated, most printed, and most distributed book in human history, but its power goes far beyond religion. From Roman emperors to modern activists, from medieval knights to digital age thinkers, the Bible has influenced societies across every continent and era. In this video, we journey through time, period by period, to discover how the Bible impacted the world we live in. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or somewhere in between, this is a story of culture, power, and human transformation you won't want to miss. When Jesus lived in the 1st century, the Roman Empire ruled much of the known world. Roads, laws, cities, and trade routes connected vast territories from Britain to Egypt. Early Christians were small in number, but deeply committed. They were seen as rebels by Roman authorities and often persecuted. The Bible began to shape not only personal faith, but imperial policy. Its influence extended to law, education, and even military decisions. The teachings of Jesus, later recorded in the Gospels, quickly spread through this network. These scriptoriums preserved not just sacred texts, but also classical knowledge from Greece and Rome. Stories of Noah, Moses, and Jesus shaped the imagination of an entire continent. Kings ruled by divine right and were crowned with biblical authority. Laws echoed the 10 Commandments. Education was rooted in Scripture, and with it, the Bible became a beacon of continuity and culture. Churches were built, bishops gained political influence, and the Bible, especially in its Latin translation, the Vulgate, became a central part of Roman religious and cultural life. Even in an age of superstition and sword, the Bible gave people a vision of eternal hope. But things changed dramatically in 313 AD, when Emperor Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, legalizing Christianity. Suddenly, a persecuted faith became an imperial force. Many saw corruption, including the selling of indulgences and abuses of power. The Council of Nicaea, in 325, helped define Christian doctrine and solidify the biblical canon. Wars were fought, alliances shifted, and entire nations redefined themselves based on biblical interpretation. In countries like England, Geneva, and the Netherlands, new Bible-based communities emerged, emphasizing education, literacy, and moral discipline. Within just a few centuries, what began as underground gatherings in Roman homes became a faith woven into the very fabric of the empire. Miracles, creation stories, and divine laws were examined under the microscope of reason. But many, like Isaac Newton and John Locke, were deeply inspired by the Bible, seeing it as a moral foundation, even if not always literal. For the first time, ordinary people could hold and read the Bible in their own language. After the fall of Rome, Europe fragmented into kingdoms and feudal territories. But while political unity crumbled, the church remained strong. Abolitionists like William Wilberforce used Scripture to argue against slavery. Early feminists quoted biblical themes of justice and equality. In 1517, he nailed his 95 Theses to the church door in Wittenberg. His core belief? That salvation came through faith, and that every person had the right to read the Bible for themselves. In monasteries across Europe, monks painstakingly copied the Bible by hand. For most people who couldn't read or write, the Bible came alive through stained glass, carvings, and church drama. While some saw this as a civilizing mission, others rightly criticized its ties to colonial oppression. The Bible wasn't just a religious text. It was the source of moral law, social structure, and political legitimacy. But this central role also made the Bible a tool of control. Only priests and scholars could read Latin. Interpretations were tightly managed by church authorities. Literacy grew. Local churches formed their own interpretations, blending Scripture with cultural identity. In seconds, anyone can access it from almost anywhere. Despite this, the Bible shaped how people viewed suffering, justice, love, and the afterlife. By the 1500s, the Catholic Church had become immensely powerful and deeply entangled with politics and wealth. One man, Martin Luther, changed everything. Thanks to the recent invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg, Luther's translation of the Bible into German spread rapidly. This sparked the Protestant Reformation, dividing Europe into Catholic and Protestant states. The Bible became a revolutionary text, a symbol of freedom, conscience, and personal connection to God. The ripple effect of the Reformation would last for centuries, shaping the modern world in unexpected ways. The 17th and 18th centuries ushered in a wave of scientific discovery, critical thinking, and intellectual revolution known as the Enlightenment. Philosophers and scientists began to question traditional authorities, including the Church. Some thinkers rejected religion entirely. The Bible continued to influence major movements. In America, founding fathers like Jefferson and Washington, though varied in belief, drew on biblical imagery to craft ideas of liberty, justice, and democracy. The Bible shifted from a purely spiritual book to a cultural and moral guide, debated, quoted, and challenged across disciplines. The 18th and 19th centuries were marked by European global expansion, and wherever ships went, so did missionaries. Missionaries translated the Bible into hundreds of local languages, sometimes creating written forms for oral languages for the first time. The Bible became a bridge between cultures, used to educate, convert, and often control. Yet the legacy is complex. In many cases, Bible translation preserved indigenous languages. The Bible became a global text, not just imported from Europe, but adapted and reinterpreted by communities in Africa, Asia, and the Americas. In the last 100 years, the Bible has remained incredibly influential. During the U.S. Civil Rights Movement, leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. quoted the Bible constantly, casting it as a source of justice and resistance against oppression. Modern media, films, literature, music continues to draw on biblical themes of good versus evil, redemption, sacrifice, and hope. Technology has taken the Bible further than ever. It's now available in over 3,500 languages, in audio, braille, apps, and podcasts. Even in increasingly secular societies, biblical influence remains embedded in language, art, values, and public debate. Whether used in private devotion, political rhetoric, or pop culture, the Bible continues to shape hearts and headlines. From dusty scrolls to digital downloads, the Bible's journey is unlike any other book in human history. It has inspired emperors and exiles, revolutionaries and reformers, artists and activists. Whether you see it as sacred scripture or world literature, its impact is impossible to ignore. The Bible didn't just survive history, it helped write it. If this video gave you something to think about, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content that explores the ideas that shaped our world.